Alright, everyone. I'm here to spread propaganda. Now, I'm sorry I've been looking through, but because it takes a while for it to process the live stream, I cannot right now see what your name is. I will put it in the video description and probably in the comments as well as soon as it finishes and I can see a live replay of the chat. But I am spreading your propaganda. Thank you. Someone came into my stream today on Tuesday and said, sorry, before we get into it, well, cut you off, leave you in suspense. If we hit 100, remember, trying to hit 100 subscribers before Friday, because if we can do it before Friday, I will do an extra long stream. Whatever you guys want, I'll do as much of it as I can in one stream. And it has to be before Friday, because Friday's my last day in this dorm, and once I go home, I have to earn shame back, and I can't just do whatever I want without shame in my childhood home. It's going to be really embarrassing if I do. Okay, now, back to it. Someone came into my live stream and said, hey, I'm spreading propaganda about Luke Cage as a tank with a car door shield and car door shield, a knockback punch, and a ultimate that gives him invincibility. And I said, wait, hold up. That's kind of gas. Luke Cage, just give him... I think having a shield is fine. A car door shield is fine. It's really funny, and it kind of fits the character. He needs some sort of damage negation ability as well. Make him big and beefed up, so that way he's not thin, and he's a big target to hit, kind of how Thing is. And then give him some sort of damage negation quirk as well. He has that knockback punch, boom. You just do that similar to a mag right click, give it a similar cooldown, and it's just right in front of him instead of a long range thing like mags. And then a basic punch combo, and then he said maybe 1 or 2 ranged attacks, I'm pretty sure. He said 2 range invincibility ult, and I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm assuming he means he needs a ranged attack. And I don't think so. I don't think every character needs a ranged attack. I just think he needs some way to close the gap, because in that kit, right, there's no way to close the distance. So give this version of Luke Cage some sort of dash. I think a shoulder slam, where like he dashes forward and he slams it with his shoulder, or maybe he does like a football tackle, where it's a dash forward, and if you press it at the same time that you hit someone, and if you don't make this super precise, he could be really broken. So make this super precise so you have to hit it very precisely. You can grab them and like tackle them to the ground, and then it kind of stuns them on the ground. Sort of how like when you get hit by Namor and you get knocked over, it does that to them, but Luke Cage gets up way faster, so that way you can actually get some value out of it instead of you both are just on the ground for a while. And then he has the car door shield, some sort of negation, knockback punch, and that's only like 4 abilities. That's fine, because realistically, if he has a car door as a shield and he has some sort of damage negation, he's going to be a frontline brawler. Unlike Rogue, who has 12. Imagine Rogue if it was an actual shield instead of just a block and lowered the dashes, and it's just the utility of the dashes instead of actually being dashes. That's kind of how they would play, it feels like, because Rogue's whole thing is dashing, and you can go and you can dash in the backline, and you can't do that with someone whose kit would work like Luke Cage's, so it would be a frontline brawler. He needs that. My only problem with that was the full immunity in the ultimate. That seems like it would be really broken, but you do want to turn him into a raid boss. So I think if the ultimate instead gave him CC immunity, full CC immunity, and like 90% damage resistance, but like, okay, so 90% damage resistance, CC immunity, you can't use your abilities except your knockback. Your knockback punch is the only ability that you're able to use, but your primary fire damage is increased. That way, it's like a surge of power. You turn him into a raid boss where he just kind of walks towards you and punches. The only problem is like the knockback punch would take them out of his range, and that's not going to be very good for him, but it would do more damage than his primary fire, so maybe it's good for finishing kills in that form. But the goal was to make him a raid boss, right? And I think 90% damage reduction, he would live an Iron Man ult, but not a Wanda ult. You could You can't stun him, but if everybody turns and looks at him, Shotgun Punisher can still take him out. Like, you could still kill him theoretically, or at least even if you can't, you just back up or you just keep healing. It all comes down to him on how much pressure he can make, because he doesn't really have the mobility to dive into the back line. I guess you could dash and try and dash over their tanks, then pop at midair and get on their back line and force them to back off that way, but that wouldn't make him as broken as full immortality would, because he can still be threatened. And you can play around him. But since he does have impenetrable skin, invulnerable skin, that's just a really fun way of doing it, because I think it's just a really cool way of doing his ult. But anyways, I just wanted to come on here and say that guy cooked. Get his idea into the game. I will credit you as soon as I can find it. And if you come to I'll recognize it when I see it, because I know like what the first couple letters are, but I don't know the rest of it. And if you come into the comments, you see it in the comments, let me know, because I will say this is the guy. That's him. He's awesome. That's pretty much it from me. Let me know if you would change anything about that kit, like add things, do different things, because I'm not the biggest Luke Cage fan, right? The only exposure to Luke Cage that I really got was Ultimate Spider-Man in my youth, and then I've watched some things, and I've read some other stuff, but I've never really been the biggest fan because I didn't like that TV show, and so bad taste in my mouth, so I never really got into him. So let me know if there was anything that you would have changed or that you would do personally. And then thank you for you, viewer, for giving me content, and hopefully if you're seeing this, subscribe and leave ideas of what I should do on that extra long and have you ever leave ideas for what I should do on that extra long stream if we get to 100 subscribers, and subscribe so that we can get there. And that's pretty much it for me. Thank you very much. Wet Willy.